The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. What kind of title is that for a talk at a Parkinson symposium? At last year's symposium, I turned to a souffle recipe as metaphor for Wellness Works programs. This year, I am looking to wisdom from a children's book, viewed as an updated Winnie the Pooh, as a way to reflect on our Wellness Works programs. I think you will agree that there is a lot of wisdom in children's books. When in difficult situations, I often hearken back to the little engine that could to give me strength. What may seem like an impossible task is really quite possible. It's about attitude. And attitude is what we have at Wellness Works. It's good attitude. Let me share some highlights of the past year. Here's the first quote from The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Mule. "The greatest illusion," said the mole, "is that life should be perfect." As you remember, in March 2020, the COVID pandemic turned the world we knew on its heels. The illusion of life being perfect was dispelled, but we all had to figure things out in the best way possible. We needed to move quickly to turn Wellness Works programs from in-person classes to classes using virtual platforms. We managed that challenge. Since April 2020, we have offered virtual exercise programs, educational events, and we have received and launched grants. While this shift challenged us to get comfortable using the computer, Zoom, for the most part, we have connected. Understandably, many miss the intimacy of meeting in person. But for some, the virtual meetings have the advantage of allowing participation from afar, joining us by computer, even on days when you might not be feeling your best, and being able to participate when transportation options are limited. I don't think anyone misses trying to find parking at the medical center when the Red Sox were playing at Fenway. Exercise classes continue to offer top-notch workouts by instructors who are committed to your well-being. The list of ongoing Parkinson's classes include boot camp, seated and standing yoga, rock steady boxing, and Tai Chi. Let me tell you what's old and what's new again. This fall, we were able to bring back PD golf. In this case, the PD stands for putting and driving. This program is held at a Newton golf course. Perhaps the pandemic motivated participants to get outdoors and swing a golf club. The class was full. Bob Beach, our dedicated instructor, is part of a program called Golf for All. He was spotlighted in a golf industry newsletter and was described as the real deal and compared to a veritable Statue of Liberty in the golf world. If Bob carried a tablet, it would read, "Give me your trusting, your loving masses, yearning to swing freely and smile radiantly." For those lucky enough Parkinson's PD golf participants, this fall, they were swinging freely and smiling broadly. PD golf will be back next spring. And here's a brand new addition to our program: self-care for care partners, yoga and meditation. Clementine Kummer, our yoga instructor, noticed that care partners were often in the background of the classes she led for people with Parkinson's. She wondered if there would be value in a separate class dedicated to care partners with the goals of teaching yoga, reducing stress, and creating care partner community. This newer program is going strong. The feedback is wonderful. One care partner shared, "I benefit not only from the stretching and breathing exercises, but also the sharing of one's life challenges and successes as we try to navigate the Parkinson's trajectory with our partners." Another care partner from out of state reflected, "This weekly experience with my Zoom friends is very affirming, with laughter and tears." We know from our experience and from the research that self-care for care partners is not a luxury. It's a necessity. If you are a care partner and want to learn more about the program, let us hear from you. This has been an exciting year for innovative grants. There is an old adage, timing is everything. Never has that saying been more appropriate as it relates to being funded in June 2020 for Living Alone with Parkinson's, a program offering planning, social support, and education. Remarkably, I wrote the grant in January 2020. I had no idea of what was ahead. Then the pandemic rearranged life as we knew it. But imagine how you would cope if you were living alone with the day-to-day challenges of Parkinson's, and then you faced the pandemic lockdown. This leads to the second quote from the book. "Sometimes," said the horse. "Sometimes what?" asked the boy. "Sometimes just getting up and carrying on is brave and magnificent." We heard from many of our grant participants who were living alone during quarantine that coping with the uncertainties of Parkinson's were magnified by the sheer fear of COVID. Well-being was threatened at every level. It took every ounce of energy and willpower for grant participants to slog through some days. This timely intervention program became a top priority for our team. We selected 17 individuals who were living alone, had Parkinson's, and were eager to work with us in this trailblazing effort. Highlights of the grant included tailored individual home visit assessments by an occupational therapist whose expertise is in Parkinson's and supporting safety and independence. Participants also benefited from meetings with a care manager to formulate an individual plan to help them meet current needs and anticipate future resources. Monthly meetings built community. There were virtual social events. Participants demonstrated an abundance of goodwill towards each other. We matched volunteers with participants to further boost social support and caring connections. The talents of Jay Dobeck, a videographer from Last Minute Productions, were harnessed to create a video that we hope will lead to replicating living alone programs in other parts of the country. It was an honor to be asked by the Parkinson's Foundation to present this grant at the National Leadership Conference just last week. Let's view together a snippet of Jay Dobeck's video, since the voices of our participants and faculty capture the heart and spirit of the grant best.
Somebody came to me with a new diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. I think I would say two things. One, you can still have a good life with it. And secondly, that the first thing I would do is get more information and understand some of the things you can do right away that help you live better with it and connect with people that have it. It's so worth it.
So I feel like it's important to have community through Parkinson's like this, and also through other aspects, so you remember who you are in the world in a bigger way than just who you are because of having Parkinson's.
And years ago, I read about something like dance with reality. Look at reality as it is. Little by little, I have been learning to raise some awareness and to get, well, from a point of view, a bit philosophical, of the joy of living in whatever circumstances.
Back to the quote. We got to learn how our living alone participants do manage to get up and carry on in brave and magnificent ways. The horse in the book would certainly be impressed. Another highlight was funding by a private philanthropist to expand the Living Alone program. We currently collaborate with the Jewish Community Center of Greater Boston with another group of people with Parkinson's who are living alone. This group is also partaking in educational and resource-driven programs that link them to each other, supporting safety, independence, and health. As if this wasn't enough news on the grant front, we are just launching a new initiative, perhaps the boldest program yet, Parkinson's Pride, engaging the LGBTQ community, was funded by the Parkinson's Foundation, our 6th grant to date. We are networking across the nation, engaging with individuals who identify with the LGBTQ community who also have Parkinson's. As with other programs, the hallmark of this grant is to create community through virtual discussions and workshops. We will use experiences of our participants to develop practice recommendations that can guide healthcare providers to better understand their needs. Participants are excited to be together, sharing positive and negative lived experience as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning people who also manage the daily challenges of living with Parkinson's. A culminating event for this program will be our Parkinson's Pride celebration held in June, which is LGBTQ Pride Month. As a group, we will creatively mark Parkinson's Pride. Our hope is that this event will increase positive visibility for the LGBTQ people living with Parkinson's. There is room for a few more participants, so if you're watching this and you're interested in more information, please let us hear from you. Be part of Parkinson's Pride. I have often joked that our BIDMC Center of Excellence earns its name and reputation. It truly is excellent. We hear from many of you about how you value our educational events and support services. If you are a woman with PD, I hope you will come to our For and About Women meetings. If you're an adult child whose parent has Parkinson's, I hope you attended Parkinson's. It's a family affair. Stay tuned for future events specifically geared to your questions and concerns. If you are curious and want to learn more, attend the Ask the Expert series. If you're an artist, bring your creative energy to our regular Calling All Artists meetings. I couldn't be more proud than I am today of the talented artists who worked together this summer to collaborate on the Art Sparks video. Albert Einstein said, "Logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere." Our Calling All artists shared their gifts of imagination. For them, their art is their medicine. They have inspired us for several years at these symposiums. It's hard to imagine what can follow Art Sparks, but knowing this group, they will rise to the challenge. It's been an extraordinary year for Wellness Works and our Center of Excellence. I was curious about how many lives we've touched. I asked my colleagues to do some calculations. They reviewed our records and did the addition. The number was impressive: 9,514 person-hours of contact. That's a lot of stretching, boxing, attending workshops, and learning. But we get to that number person by person and class by class. There's a team to thank. These programs take a hard-working team. Members of the team include staff and interns. Shout-outs to Michaela, Hannah, Anya, Abhilasha, and Becca. Of course, I am grateful for the steadfast leadership of Dr. David Simon, our center's medical director. He's a clinician and scientist at heart, but he wholeheartedly supports every Wellness Works program, offering beyond the pill box approaches to your health. And of course, I'm grateful to our Wellness Works instructors. Your passion for your work and dedication to each student is key to our success. In closing, I offer you the final quote from The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. "What is the bravest thing you've ever said?" asked the boy. "Help," said the horse. "Asking for help isn't giving up," said the horse. "It's refusing to give up. We all need to ask for help from time to time. As the horse says so clearly, it is brave to ask for help. It isn't giving up. In fact, it's refusing to give up. Our Center of Excellence offers a team ready to help. Let us hear from you. You are here today. Show up at the programs. It is good for your health. Thank you.